Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis, and today we're going to be talking about XDC, or Xinfin if you will. So sit back, relax, and before we fully jump on into this video, I do just want to ask guys to please leave a like on this video. It does help the channel grow immensely, and I do greatly appreciate that. But with that being said, I do want to talk to guys about Xinfin because I've found some very interesting things, and I really do want you all to understand that when we are investing into something like Xinfin, we are investing into a standard. Okay, everybody loves to call XRP the standard in terms of, cross-border payments, or for an example, really disrupting these legacy systems. But honestly, I think everybody kind of disregards the power behind XDC, especially even at its current price with market cap. Like, the fact that this is sitting at about a $663 million market cap is just screaming for me to buy it. And the reason why is because of everything that is going on within this network from an overall fundamental standpoint within the trade finance area. I mean, it's a $19 trillion market, and XDC is basically the standard in that area, and we're going to be talking about why. So let's just jump in and let's talk about this. So first and foremost, we do see here Martha Reyes, head of research at Bequant_Group, discusses XDC network in this article. Give it a read if you have a moment. Don't forget, Bequant_Group and Xinfin are strategic partners. Now, I don't need to read this entire article at all, but we do have to look at this real quick from an overall standpoint and really kind of connect it back to trade financing. So, of course, we do see XDC's, statistics being mentioned here. They're talking about Bitcoin and how it could handle 3 and 6 transactions per second, Ethereum, and even Xinfin. Now, we do see a use case is reducing friction and expanding access to trade financing for SMEs and creating yield opportunities for investors. Agreements and documents are stored in interoperable smart contracts, and transactions are settled on the blockchain more efficiently than in the legacy systems. There's also a higher security as there is clear evidence and traceability of ownership. The smart contract transactions feature digital tokens, which represent the value of off-chain, the bank-originated assets, and can generate yield for investors as well. Now, with all this in mind, Xinfin is truly killing the game in terms of, the trade finance area. And we actually see here scalability will unlock important avenues of growth in the digital economy as well as in the physical one. It will be an important theme in 2022. I do truly believe that not only scalability, but also speed, efficiencies, energy efficient and sustainable, like that goes a long way, especially in today's society, as you guys are probably all aware. But I do want to talk to you guys a little bit about Bequant as well and why they are a very significant group of individuals. So first off, let's go check out that, right? So here we have Bequant as a company, full service digital assets trading and prime brokerage services. Funny thing about this is that they're doing absolute numbers. I mean, $335 billion quarterly volume traded, 100 plus institutional clients, and 120 plus digital assets supported. Now, with this in mind, I want you to all realize that they are mentioning Xinfin and XDC as the true, and I say as the true, basically standard for trade finance. And the reason why I say that they are basically saying that is, they are mentioning how XDC or Xinfin can really, expand access to trade financing and really kind of allow for a lot less, friction in this area, as well as allow for a lot of those efficiencies within trade finance to be met from, of course, Xinfin's standards. Things are moving very fast with, trade finance. In fact, here's Finostra. This goes back to October 15th, 2021. Network of Networks, the future of trade financing. Now, when we talk about trade financing, there's one name that always comes up. Can you guys guess that name? And I'm not talking about Xinfin, I'm not talking about XDC, I'm not talking about anything like that. One specific individual's name comes up all the time. Okay, that name is Andre Kasserman. Okay, we do see here connecting digital islands in trade finance. While universal standards will help to improve the efficiency and functionality of trade finance for more players, Andre Kasserman, managing director at Kasserman Advisory and ITFA board member, believes that technology will be the driver when it comes to creating the new level of interoperability sought by the ICC. The technology the world has devised over the last 10 years around exchange of data, APIs, and digital ledger technology is enabling us to address the horizontal interoperability and get to the point of enabling parties to exchange data without being customers of one platform or another. Now, of course, We know that Finastra is currently putting the network approach in action through the partnership with Anigio. I just discussed Anigio the other day with a direct connection back to Xinfin and how big of a company Anigio actually is as well. And don't get me wrong, when we are talking about Finastra, Finastra is such a giant as well. I've discussed that to you. But again, when we are talking about Xinfin, it has direct connections to these major companies, and this is all talking about trade finance as well. I mean, here's Finastra, right? That's why Finastra incorporated Anigio into the broader framework of the Fusion Trade Innovation Solutions. Supply chain finance compared to documentary trade is already further down the line of digitization. An ICC survey found that 64% of global banks already offer a supply chain financing platform, but only 38% of regional banks and 13% of local banks can say the same. This is exactly why, trade finance is such an easy area to really disrupt. The supply to demand ratio is extremely offset. While banks have increased trade finance revenues by 89% by automating and scaling their trade finance business with the Finastra's trade solutions, analysts suggest that the integration of Finastra and Anigio can also lead to an 82% reduction in tasks requiring manual intervention, a 91% reduction in processing and management costs, and can cut processing time for a single document from 14 days to just a couple of hours. And guys, when we are talking about Anigio, okay, first off, let's connect the dots here real quick. Now, the direct connection here is Andre Casterman. All right, when we are talking about this individual, this guy is seriously a financial giant of an individual. First off, let's check out his experience. So, of course, he has massive experience here, but of course, his fintech advisory and portfolio companies is under Anigio, digitizing and automating trade organization. Origination. Sorry. Now, of course, he has TradeTex, filing the SME or filling the SME trade distribution gap. Now, other fintech advisory. Here's Xinfin, tokenization and digital asset technology. The funny thing here is that it doesn't mention anything about trade finance at all from Xinfin's side. But the problem here, or I shouldn't say the problem, but the major thing here is that we know that he's focused on trade finance from Xinfin's side, of course, with TradeTech. And with Anigio being a direct connection with, of course, Xinfin through this one individual, but also other partnerships alone. For example, when we're talking about the ITFA, right? The ITFA and even the TFDI, both of these companies are constantly mentioned next to each other, and they're constantly, on the same board of directors in terms of, someone like Andre Casterman. But also it's the idea that they are working together in terms of really filling the gaps within this area. It's not going to be just $19 trillion goes to one player. Absolutely not. There's going to be enough money for all of these major players to eat as well. But Xinfin definitely should be one to keep a close eye out on in terms of the trade finance area, as they are creating standards here. Now, also, Xinfin's key role here is tokenization. And we even see here, if XDC isn't being used yet for tokenization and liquidity, it will be soon. Patience pays. Now, this goes back to October 20th. Now, this original tweet goes back to April 22nd of, 2021. But we do see Andre Casterman saying, not really. Hybrid blockchain is when the business data is off-chain, and that's what regulated institutions such as banks need. For instance, the bill of exchange can be on Anigio's Trace original, and Xinfin tokenizes it to get the liquidity. The public DOT of Xinfin will not contain any business data, which is key in trade finance. So this is how you balance it. This is the balance between these companies. This is exactly why there is enough food for both of these companies to eat, because they both are key to the process. I want everyone to understand this. Now, here is from Deloitte how blockchain can reshape trade finance. And this is also exactly what I wanted to really talk to you guys about. Now, in 2015 alone, the trade finance market was measured at more than $10 trillion. Now it is $19 trillion plus. Trade finance is a massive area. Now, here are some of the pain points. Okay, here's the pain points of today's processes. Manual contract creation, invoice factoring, delayed timeline. We even see manual AML review, multiple platforms, duplicative bills of lading, multiple versions of the truth, delayed payment as well. And then here is the future state vision. Upon purchase, the agreement of sale between the importer and exporter is shared with import bank using the smart contract on the blockchain. In real time, the import bank will have capability to review purchase agreement, draft terms of payment. You can really kind of see it. It's all streamlining the entire process through digitization. And of course, we do see blockchain advantages. Here you guys have it. You can really kind of see these: real-time review, transparent factoring, disintermediation, reduced counterparty risk, decentralization, contract execution, proof of ownership, automated settlement, and reduced transaction fees, regulatory transparency as well. Like, all of this goes hand in hand into, what we want to expect from, of course, just the trade finance area. We want blockchain to disrupt this, but there's only one key player to actually do this. This is also why I'm watching ISO 222. This is also why I'm talking about more so regulations a lot, because, a lot of the things that we talk about on a day-to-day basis on this channel, from, Xinfin to XRP to even HBAR and things like that, a lot of the major things that hold these assets back from being truly adopted in and being utilized properly is simply regulations. But with ISO 222 nearing day by day, this is going to be a new standard. This is going to be the idea that, first off, this is just a messaging standard, okay? With that messaging standard, though, comes new regulations. We're going to see regulations being ushered in. In fact, the ECB already said that they want to usher in regulations to really kind of stop Russia from utilizing crypto and things like that. Like, at any point in time, okay, the curtain can be closed. All right, the show can be over, and we could have regulations tomorrow. I honestly believe that when we are talking about Xinfin is huge, okay? You need to realize that what they are doing is really interconnecting a lot of these major areas of, I would say it's massive volume. Trade finance is something to not be disregarded at all. It's a $19 trillion market, and XDC, or I should say Xinfin, is at the core of it. Okay, Xinfin is going to be the tokenization bridge for trade finance. And we've actually seen this previously. Okay, when we're talking about Trade Finex and even Trade Tech, okay, Xinfin is working with both of them. But Trade Finex is also a huge player here for trade finance. I actually want all of you that are watching this video to go do some research on Trade Tech and Trade Finance in direct connection to Xinfin. Of course, Trade Finex, we already know, is a direct partner, but you need to look into Trade Tech. More so, watch Andre Kasserman. Pay attention to this individual, because he has been at the heart of almost everything that's been happening with Xinfin, from adoption to even disrupting trade finance in general, because he sees a ton of dollar signs behind this market as well. I mean, it's clear to me, when you're talking about a market that is worth $1 trillion plus, I mean, we're talking about like $10 trillion plus at like $19 trillion in valuation, compared to a market cap of $662.8 million. I'm telling you, Xinfin is going to be the standard here, because it's the only blockchain out there that has properly facilitated an NFT transaction in the trade finance area, that streamlined the entire process, reduced massive friction, allowed for, speed, sustainability, those efficiencies that come with this blockchain network. It truly streamlined the process and allowed it to be something that was absolutely revolutionary to a $19 trillion market. You need to realize how undervalued this gem actually is. I can't even believe it's still at 5 cents. Let me know what you guys think about this being at 5 cents still. But with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on if you guys want more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. As always, up to you all. Have a beautiful day or beautiful night wherever you guys are in this beautiful world. This has been Nick. Peace out, guys.